Sri Lanka has frequently been experiencing hydrometeorological hazards such as flood, droughts, and landslides under a changing and variable climate, especially during recent decades. The agriculture sector is the worst affected sector by these weather-related shocks, resulting in the country's food and nutritional security at jeopardy. Yields of almost all food crops have declined both in terms of quantitatively and qualitatively. However, this situation has resulted in an opportunity for the farmers to shift towards climate-smart agriculture, in line with the recently adopted National Agriculture Policy (NAP 2021) of the Government of Sri Lanka, and also the National Adaptation Plan for Climate Change 2016 to 2025. According to the population projections made by the World Bank Group, it has been revealed that about 30% of the country's total population will live in urban areas of Sri Lanka by 2050. Hence, there is an urgent need to focus on producing essential food crops, especially vegetables and fruits within the urban areas itself, rather than depending on food produced in other areas of the country, with a significantly higher food mile and carbon footprint. The new agriculture policy of the Government of Sri Lanka has very clearly phrased out the importance of urban food security of the country by motivating urban communities to produce their dietary vegetable and fruit requirements through both horizontal and vertical farming in their own home gardens. However, urban and semi-urban communities in Sri Lanka are generally deprived of adequate extent of arable lands in their home gardens to cultivate their required food crops to fulfill their daily dietary needs, while they also have only a limited time to spend on such activities due to their very busy day-to-day hectic schedule. In order to find a solution for this imminent problem, the project team of the Alliance for Appropriate Technology Exchange Guarantee Limited, AfATE Kandy Sri Lanka, introduced a novel home gardening system called Smart Vertical Farming Module (SVFM) through a project funded collaboratively by the Asian Disaster Preparedness Centre (ADPC) Bangkok, Thailand, the World Bank Group, and the UK aid of United Kingdom. The main objective of this project was to encourage urban and semi-urban communities of Sri Lanka to start climate-smart home gardening in their small piece of land available for vegetable and leafy vegetable production, with a bare minimum of time to spend for it. This project was implemented through different approaches, such as discussions with high-level agriculture officials, selection of suitable household beneficiaries in consultation with the Provincial Department of Agriculture in respective provinces, and then procurement process of the two main components of the project as per the scope of the work was made through a selection of suitable bidder for assembly, manufacturing and installation of SVFM, and other supportive modules, together with a web application in 10 locations in the western and northern provinces, and the selection of a suitable bidder for the production of a 30-minute documentary video with Sinhala and Tamil subtitles. Tender specifications and evaluation were done in accordance with ADPC and World Bank guidelines and national guidelines. Separate contract agreements were signed between AfATE and relevant contractor prior to the start of their work.
This smart vertical farming module, we have 6 zinc aluminum gutters using for solid plant medium, whereas we are using 2 pipes for hydroponics media. In this particular module, SVFM we call a smart vertical farming module, we are using 6 sensors to measure soil moisture level and the pH level, and for these particular gutters. And each and every sensor will measure the level of moisture content and the pH level, and accordingly it will automatically operate the watering and the fertigations of this Albert solution. Well, apart from that, we have one sensor which measure altogether with the temperature and the relative humidity, and accordingly it will operate the mister, and when the relevant temperature is higher than the particular settable level, and it automatically operate this mister. Apart from that, we have another sensor for the light, that depending on the light intensity in the daytime, it will operate during the daytime. So we have already planted today and halfly planted some of the plants here, and this particular farmer will plant the rest of the plants and the seedlings. The whole system consists of 2 supportive modules as well. Apart from the smart vertical farming module, we have one module to collect rainwater from these gutters, and this 500 liter water tank will collect all this rainwater collecting from the roof. And also we are using another module for the solar. You can see here that we have solar panel for 15 watt, which entire system is being powered by the solar power.
The project team, along with the provincial agriculture officers, made monitoring visits to its locations and gave necessary technical instructions, rectifying any problems they have faced during the course of crop growth cycles. After the completion of each growth cycle of the respective crops, family members of the household beneficiaries joyfully took part in harvesting their produce coming out of the SVFM for their household consumption.
The smart vertical farming module was installed at my residence about on the 31st of May, that's about 2 weeks back. And this was installed at the recommendation of the Western Province Agriculture Department, and the project is funded by ADPC and the World Bank. And this is a very useful system because it's fully automated with basically the system releases the fertilizer, the water, and also controls the temperature automatically. And it is very convenient because for a household that is busy, a household that is employed will not have sufficient time to basically do all that, but the system takes care of it and controls all the factors and the system works efficiently. So what we have done is we have grown, we have started to grow kangkung, cabbage, cauliflower, capsicum, green chili, okra, eggplant, and I believe this is the produce is sufficient for a small family of about 4, urban family of about 4 to basically cater to their day-to-day greens and vegetable requirement.
I think for a busy housewife who lives in a limited space like this unit is actually very useful.
ඇත්තට මේ වගේ ජනාකීර්ණ මේ
We who live in an urban area, this kind of a unit is very useful and happy to have this. No need to pay more attention because the water system is function automatically. And we have planted here kangkung, cabbage, radish, carrot, tomato, bell pepper and chilies. And this kind of small vegetable plants easily can be planted here.
සහ මීචි.
Actually, this project is a timely requirement. In our busy lifestyle, this helps us a lot to fulfill our vegetable consumption. Here, the most important is water, fertilizer, and everything are being functioned automatically. This is very useful for busy people like us. This cultivation was started on 12th March. We do kangkung, gotukola, capsicum, green chili, tomato and radish. We harvested kangkung 4 times and mukunu 3 times. Hydroponic system is ideal for cultivating leaves. Here we have cultivated gotukola successfully.
ඇත්තටම මෙම view here ඉතාම වටිනවා මේ වගේ
This structure is very useful and important for urban agriculture, but we have never used this kind of facility in the past. It helps to produce our food crops by using this automated system despite the hectic schedule in our day-to-day life. I am sure that other people in the neighborhood will opt for adopting this kind of novel technique. We have already received such requests from the community in the area. In the Western Province, we have established 7 such modules and additional module at the headquarters of the Department of Agriculture, and also I know that the similar kind of modules have been installed at the Jaffna Municipal Council in the Northern Province.
ස්තුතියක් පුද කරන්න කැමතියි.
The solid plant medium used in this module was comprised with compost, partially burnt paddy husk and cocoa peat at a ratio of 1:1.
This can be easily managed and can do many crops that we use day to day. Even under shady with less sunlight, automated way supplies enough temperature.
In this medium, many vegetables can be grown. Here, coir is used to maintain the wetness. As fertilizer, here we use compost and burnt paddy husk. We call it here kardahya. I can say this vertical system is very economical because in a small space, we can grow many varieties of vegetables.
At the conclusion of the scheduled field activities of the project, 2 half-day national workshops were held in Colombo for the relevant government officials, NGOs, INGOs, academia of universities and the National Institute of Education and private sector representatives for sharing knowledge and experience acquired during the implementation phase of the project. It will act as a first initiative of the project upscaling.
Good morning and welcome to all of you joining in person today and those joining us virtually from Sri Lanka as well from different parts of the world. This workshop is one of the final activities of 7-month pilot project on smart vertical farming under Climate Innovation Challenge. Without further ado, I will cordially invite
Asian Disaster Preparedness Center under the overall framework of the World Bank Program for Asia Resilience to Climate Change Multi-Donor Trust Fund by the United Kingdom and Commonwealth and Development Office.
First of all, it is a great privilege to me to address at this occasion where you are trying to complete a pilot project on vertical farming, especially in the changing climate. We all know that now if we are talking about the food security and the nutritional security, everybody is talking about the access to food, also safe food, and then of course in some ways we would like to have our own food at the home garden.
As you will know, today our motherland Sri Lanka is undergoing through a very difficult period. We all experience it even today. Therefore, as the agricultural department officials, we should find a solution to the food shortages that may be occurring near future.
First of all, thank you very much for inviting me for this very important event, and congratulations to AfATE colleagues, particularly Mr. Nuwan, with whom I have been all the time interacting. And on behalf of ADPC, we really thank you for this particular initiative. I really wanted to come and join you personally, but due to the travel restrictions still in Bangkok, I could not come. At the same time, I also know that you are going through a very difficult, challenging phase. But knowing Sri Lanka and knowing you all, I have been working for almost 3 decades. You are resilient, and I'm pretty sure that you would overcome the current challenge, which certainly is not the topic for today.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now heading one of the most important items of this event. So I cordially invite Dr. Vivian Punyawardana, Project Coordinator, to make the introduction to our keynote speaker of this inauguration session. Sir, Lawrence.
I see that this is a pilot project. And the pilot project, as far as I understand, probably ending tomorrow, as Dr. Ranjit Punyawardana told me. As Dr. Ajantani Silva quite correctly explained a while ago, that it is high time the project will have the spin-offs or spill-offs, or in other words, more importantly, scaling up process. And I think, accidentally, purposively or not, the pilot project is ending up at a time where our country needs most of techniques of this nature to be implemented on ground. It has coincided beautifully to make sure that everyone will get the benefit out of it. So because of this scenario, when I read through the introductory remark that was sent to me, I thought to scale up as well as to design my presentation to cover up different aspects. Though my topic is basically on home gardening and trying to focus on home gardening development that has taken place in South Asia, I will focus my presentation more towards Sri Lanka. I think it's highly opportune right now. And then I will bring in examples from South Asian region based on our research experience, and we'll end up using Sri Lanka.
This will definitely have an impact on the food insecurity and malnutrition, which is compounded by the poverty. As I showed you, there's a very high poverty rate in the Colombo area, and also the increasing urban cost. Because not only for food, the urban communities, urban dwellers have to spend huge amount of money for other activities like power, water, and renting and all that. So all those things reduce the purchasing power of food items, food commodities of the community.
Let me start from
I'm going to wrap up. Actually, this is the one of our 2 final programs or activities in the 7 months speed 7-up project. So what I'm going to do here, sort of a wrap up speech, which I will show you how we obtain or achieve a small attempt, as Dr. Budi Barmi very well said, that we cannot solve the food security in the country by doing these kind of small things. But anyway, our attempt is just a small attempt to show how we can do this vertical farming in its smart way.
Thank you very much. This is Samsul Huda from Western Sydney University, Australia, and part of the SVFM group. I'm very excited to hear that well-informed information, the messages that you gave, were well presented.
What way you can support us and we can contribute some way.
Just showing me that there's a chance, 100% chance for us to
Come and participate in the workshop to understand. Because we believe alternative beliefs by teams, more than listening.
That's what I said. That's what in fact,
Finally, I would cordially invite Engineer Kumar Singh, Project Manager, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Big thanks to Mrs. Utpala Amarakon, Provincial Director, and Mrs. Geetani, Kamlata, and Mrs. Subhashini, Mrs. Utpala, all names I mentioned in the Eastern Province Agriculture.
අපේ පාසල් විෂය නිර්දේශයේ සිලබස් එකටයි විශ්වවිද්‍යාලවල මේක සිලබස් එකට ඇතුළත් කරන එක සම්බන්ධයෙන් කතා කරනවා නම් හොඳයි.
By recognizing the timely importance of the project's interventions on ensuring the food and nutritional security of urban and semi-urban communities in Sri Lanka, the country's 2 prominent national TV broadcasting channels in Sinhala and Tamil languages, namely Siyatha and Vasantan, respectively, were quick to understand the relevance of the project as an entry point for the national agriculture development as per the National Agricultural Policy of the Government of Sri Lanka, and opted to spare a reasonable time to telecast in a prime time window of their respective TV channels to showcase the project activities with on-site video captures and interviews with project beneficiaries. It was clearly understood that the introduction of SVFMs to urban and semi-urban households who are generally deprived of arable lands for food crop production is a smart solution which will ensure availability of safe and fresh vegetables and leafy vegetables for household consumption with a 0 food mile minimum time spent on it, because the SVFM is mostly automated. The project team and AfATE wishes to extend their sincere gratitude and thanks to